Welcome back to Velshi and Rule. On the crowded Capitol Hill today, a full House vote set the stage for public hearings in the impeachment inquiry, all while private hearings press on. Testifying today behind closed doors as we speak, Tim Morrison, who until his resignation yesterday was President Trump's top national security advisor on European and Russian affairs. Now, according to a senior administration official, he has, quote, decided to pursue other opportunities.
Morrison replaced Fiona Hill back in July, who resigned before she testified to investigators in a closed-door session earlier this month. Meanwhile, House Democrats also want to hear from former National Security Advisor John Bolton. His lawyer says that will not happen voluntarily, but he stands ready to accept service of a subpoena. Let's just make a really important point. Remember, this administration has tossed aside subpoenas right, left, and center. The fact that John Bolton's lawyer is saying, nope, he won't come on his own, but just serve us a subpoena, that certainly sounds like, yep, he's ready to talk.
All right, joining us now, NBC News contributor and Washington Post national investigative reporter Carol Leonnig. Carol, Tim Morrison, could his testimony today be a turning point? Is it important? I'm wondering what he can say that others haven't said, because everything that everybody thought Donald Trump did on that phone call with Vladimir Zelensky has been corroborated.
Absolutely, Ali. I think there are two ways to look at Tim Morrison's testimony. The first one is that it corroborates the accounts. In other words, it's another brick in the wall of national security experts who say this call was worrisome, the events before it were worrisome, the events before it where Trump essentially was really interested in getting an investigation announced in exchange for releasing federal funds, military aid, and agreeing to a meeting with Zelensky. The second way in which Tim Morrison's testimony is really important is it's not like he can be discarded by Republicans on the Hill as a deep state Obama holdover or whatever new catchphrase there is for people who are civil servants. Remember, Republicans said Bill Taylor was part of the deep state. The president said these are people trying to reject the presidency and a coup against him. But in this case, Tim Morrison was chosen because he was a Trump supporter, a person inside the White House who basically was much more of a first-hand witness to some of this push that was making the National Security Council so unnerved and upset.
It's almost less about the president and more about Republican members of Congress who may decide it is time to part ways with the president and do something different. If John Bolton were to testify, we know what we're going to hear out of the White House. He's angry. He's now out of favor with the president. This is what ex-employees do. But for every other Republican in Washington, they have known John Bolton for years.
30 years.
This is a real guy, a real conservative, a savvy lawyer. What's to come if he speaks and backs up what we've heard from Fiona Hill and others?
I think you've pointed out the exact issues here with Bolton. He is a known quantity. He is a GOPer, born and bred. He's given significant financial and political support to a lot of the Republicans who are going to be making some of these decisions about the president's fate. And he's a known entity to them, someone they trust and can count on. If he breaks with the president beyond just leaving at the president's request, leaving his administration, if he breaks with him and says he was engaged in an improper quid pro quo, that really will change the narrative definitively and profoundly.
Carol, you've got some bombshell reporting about the transcript of the Ukraine call and what a White House lawyer is accused of doing. What did you find out?
What we learned was, and it has been reported by other organizations, that John Eisenberg was the one who raised this point of let's put this document on a secure or limited network where people aren't going to see it out of concern about leaks. The July 25 call sparked a lot of concern among national security aides, including Alex Vindman, an Army officer who went right to Eisenberg right away. What we learned is that the reason that this was placed on a top secret server was because minutes after the call ended between President Trump and President Zelensky, this Army officer went to John Eisenberg, the legal advisor to the National Security Council, and said, "This is really upsetting. What the president has done is wrong. We cannot be asking foreign governments for their assistance in investigating a U.S. citizen. It's totally improper." And on that note, Eisenberg made a command decision in that very meeting, conferring with another lawyer, and said, "We need to get this document on a CIA server where people aren't going to see it." That raised a lot of hackles for Vindman, wondering, why are we putting this someplace where no one can see it? What's the point of that? It was a striking moment inside the White House. Instead of asking more questions about what the president did wrong, apparently the emphasis was on preventing leak of this information.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.